Very odd.
Go, Matt.
All right, guys. So let's jump back into the contingencies and some of the clever wording you mentioned, Michael, that you can put into these. Is there anything specific that you can share, or is it very hyper local and situation dependent when you start to get into some of the ways that you can protect your buyer and still release as many contingencies as possible?
Well, if you're competing with folks that aren't going to have an appraisal contingency, and you do, what you can say is that the buyer will pay up to a certain amount of money, let's say $40,000-$50,000 if the appraisal doesn't come in, or you'll say we'll make up the difference in cash up to a certain amount of appraised price, and that can work very, very well. The other thing you got to do is just find a good appraiser. That's tough.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's almost an oxymoron. But
but I keep lists of good appraisers.
Yeah.
We have a couple of them that we know that we go to and talk to quite a bit about. I mean, I think number one thing when it comes to getting an offer submitted, when it comes to multiple offer situations, is number one, like you first said, it has to be a personal relationship that you have with the listing agent. Because I talked to a listing agent the other day. He and I know each other, and he said, "Hey, Greg, I'll hold everything if you want to show your client." I couldn't get my guy in there fast enough, so I said, no, don't worry about it. Just go and just do your thing, and if my guy can act fast enough, we'll come in. But that's the power of a personal relationship, because if an agent knows, like if Michael and I were to work together, and if I knew Michael was bringing an offer in, I'd be like, dude, Michael, this is what we're looking for. Keep it in this ballpark. This is what my sellers are looking for. And if you guys need a little more time, let us know. We would want to work with you. And that's a very much a relationship-based business, both on getting clients and also working with your fellow agents. So don't be a dick to other agents. I mean, when I first got into business, I used to write the nastiest notes about agents. And my
guess what? You're going to meet them again, right, Greg?
And I would tell my dad, I'm like, Dad, why are you not, backing me up? So-and-so is a blank to blank. He's like, Greg, because someday you're going to need that SOB. And I'm like, damn it. Okay.
and you're absolutely right about the relationship. And one of the ways you can build relationships quickly is to go to your local marketing meeting and just say hello to people. Because if they've got 6 offers, and there's one agent they've met, even briefly at a marketing meeting, I mean, there's a higher level of trust than 5 other people they've never met before.
Yeah, very, very true.
And it's a good way to find out about properties that haven't hit the market yet, the coming soons.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great way to go. So I hope people will attend their local marketing meeting.
That's something I am incredibly notoriously horrible at, and now I have been publicly shamed. I appreciate it.
I'll be looking for you, Greg.
I actually know you will be too.
I will be. I'll see you Tuesday.
May I buy you a couple of dogs, Michael, so that you can send the dogs after Greg?
There you go.
All right, so remind people before we jump into the lead generation stuff, Michael, how can they connect with you and tell people what office you work out of?
I work out of Realty One, San Ramon, and you can reach me at 800-417-7325, 800-417-7325, and my website is www.ethnoconnect.com, ethnoconnect.com.
Yeah. And so, guys, if you guys are like members of a realtor association where they have expos, or if you have connections to, I mean, Michael, you're speaking in front of everything from home builders groups to all kinds of stuff, even auto dealers and other industries outside of real estate, because they're interested in the negotiation and the cross-cultural selling stuff that you present on. So, guys, if you have any connections to events or associations that are looking for amazing speakers, be sure to keep Michael in mind for that, not just the referral end of it. But and then, Greg, did you have anything you wanted to chip in on that before we dive in?
Yeah, Michael works at a great brokerage. You also have Will Dorlich working down in your office, I believe, correct?
Yes, he is the current president of the Bay East Association of Realtors, and he does very well. We compete head-to-head very often, and he is a competitor. Watch out.
He is. He's also the father of my lender that I've used for 18 years. He's been a good family friend forever. So you guys got a great office, great people. So Matt, lead us off into kind of what we're going to talk about today, because I think that now that we're actually recording again, now people can take this home, guys. This is something you really need to listen to. I mean, I do a lot of joking around on the show, but when I talk about guests that you need to really pay attention to, Michael's going to be one of them. He's got so much knowledge stored up in his head that we're going to barely scrape off a little bit of nugget of goodness, and hopefully you'll put it on the paper in front of you, because it will change your business, guys. I guarantee you.
That's right. Well, let's start with the just the fundamentals of a new agent that's starting out, or someone that's resetting and restarting their business. We get a lot of people that listen to the show that are in one of those two situations. So let's start with them. And Michael, how would you have them start off or restart their prospecting efforts to get new clients?
Well, first, Matt, I wouldn't do what most brokers suggest to new agents, which is go door knock and make cold calls. Those are probably the two fastest ways to get somebody out of the real estate business. It's probably why we have such a high turnover rate. Because number one, door knocking, I mean, it is effective, and many people use it very effectively, but it takes a while. No. And Matt, when do new agents need income?
3 months ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually, not today. They needed it like 90 days ago.
Yeah, so now you want them to establish in a farm, which takes 3 to 6 months minimum. They've got to spend money in door hangers, flyers, those kinds of things. It's tough. And a lot of people just don't like going up to the doorstep, knocking on doors. In fact, they probably very often wouldn't appreciate it if somebody did it to them. So they have sort of a reluctance to do this. Yeah. And if you do, people will sense that. And I guarantee you're not going to get very good results. So save that. If you're a new agent, save the door knocking and certainly the cold calling, because, man, I mean, I used to do that as a living when we didn't have the do not call list, and it was still a killer. But now that you got the do not call list, people hate to be called, especially by strangers, even if they're not on the do not call list and it's legal to call them. I wouldn't bother right now because, again, the rejection level is incredibly high. Yeah. So what I would always recommend to new agents is what I call social farming. Now, that's not social media marketing. That's a discussion for a whole nother day. But social farming is basically joining an organization that does whatever you enjoy doing or want to do more of. So it could be golfing, tennis, hiking, biking, something like that. And you guys know that realtors just do not spend enough time off. And you know that if we spent more time off, we'd be much more creative, we'd have much more energy, and we'd probably be much more effective. But what we do is we think we have to go door knocking and do these kinds of things. Social farming can be considered marketing as well, so you don't have to feel guilty about it, and can be extremely effective. So, for example, that's the way I got started in this business 40 years ago. I mean, frankly, I was part-time when I got started in real estate. I was a full-time producer for the ABC television network, and I decided I would go off on my own and become freelance as a producer. So I produced television shows and motion pictures and things like that. But you may or may not know that in television and film, the word freelance is just another term for mostly unemployed. So I figured I needed some way to make money in between television and film projects. And thinking, what can I do that's easy and you could make a lot of money at? Well, like a lot of people, I thought that would be real estate. Well, I was wrong, but I hung in there. And so I didn't have a lot of time. I was working, full time as a producer. And the only time I had was weekends. So every weekend during the winter, I went skiing on a ski bus with 51 strangers and me every weekend. Now, I could have skied with my friends. Right. The problem is I'd already sold them a home. So right. Instead, I skied with strangers. And every single weekend I went up, I sold somebody a home or bought them a home.
Really?
Now,
Goodness.
Please consult your own tax advisor, but I wrote off every one of those trips as a marketing expense because literally I could show this trip I sold this house, this trip I sold that house. And it was so effective. And I couldn't figure out why it was effective, but what it dawned on me was, number one, we had an instant connection. Why? Because everybody in the ski bus was there for the same reason I was, which was what, guys?
Skiing.
Have fun.
Yeah, exactly. And so we all had an instant connection, and I'd ask them, have you ever skied here before? What are the good runs? That kind of thing, And so that's a great way to go at least for me. That was very, very effective, when it came to my social media marketing. And then when it wasn't winter, I got involved with the club because we had dances and parties and things like that. And so I would organize them. I got to know people really well. And so I pretty much owned that club when it came to marketing. And so what I do is I sit down with agents and I say, what do you like doing? What are you good at? What's your hobbies? And they go, well, why do you want to know about my hobbies? I need to market real estate. I said, you could turn your hobby into a real estate marketing machine. Yeah. So go get some kind of career apparel, something that says your company name on it, or a realtor shirt, hat, whatever it happens to be, and wear it and just go and have fun. And don't spend much time talking about real estate. Just talk about whatever, hiking or biking or whatever you happen to be doing. But, you will build a relationship with people quicker than certainly knocking on doors or following up on internet leads. Probably the most effective way to go. Why? Number one, because you're going to be consistent at it. Mm-hmm. Why are people so consistent at social farming, would you guess?
Because they like doing it. It's fun. There's no rejection involved. I mean, you're talking about snowboarding or skiing while you're doing snowboarding and skiing. Then you make friends with someone. You go have lunch together. You go hit a couple of runs. You meet up with someone else. You hit a couple of other runs with them. The bond is there. You had a good time. You took the moguls. You hit the jump. You took that hill super quick. And then it's right. Like, okay, I like Michael. I trust Michael. I can talk to Michael. He hasn't shoved real estate down my throat. Then occasionally over dinner and a glass of wine or sitting in the bus kind of, relaying war stories for the day, you get to talking, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. The old Ford script comes up, and all of a sudden, Michael, what do you do for a living? I'm glad you asked. I got the greatest job in the world. I sell real estate. You do? Mm-hmm. We're thinking of blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. And the beauty about real estate is that people want to own it and want to sell it, or, that it's probably the only advantage we have as realtors, because frankly, people don't really care for realtors. They think we don't work hard. They think we don't earn our money, and there's some sort of dishonesty attached with somebody who doesn't work very hard and makes an incredible amount of money. Number one, they don't understand our business. Yeah. But the only advantage we've got is that we control real estate and we can help people buy and sell real estate. Mm-hmm. And so I learned just to ask people question after question about what do they do, how's their family, what do they enjoy doing? And eventually they'd run out of things to say, and they'd say to me, so what do you enjoy, what do you do for a living? And I simply say, I'm an educator. I like to educate real estate clients, my clients, and help them to be the best educated buyers and sellers on the planet.
I love that. You're an educator. Wow. That is a totally different script.
Mm-hmm. And that works for me. And every realtor has got to come up with their own, what we call an elevator pitch. What makes you unique? And every one of us is unique in some way, shape, or form. And even if you're brand new in the business, you weren't born yesterday. You had experience in retail. You had experience in other areas. You may even own real estate. Use that as part of your elevator, speech.
Mm-hmm. So the social farming, is it just, I call it your superpower. It's what you're really good at. And, when people don't really think about it, like you said, they don't think about their past lives. Like you said, they weren't born yesterday. They get in this zone of like, I'm in real estate. I can only concentrate on door knocking, cold calls, mailers, social media, and the list goes on. They completely forget about the rest of their lives because they've been traditionally, they've been, browbeaten with the fact that once you're in real estate, you can only act in this certain way. You can only look a certain way, act a certain way, say these certain things, market in these certain directions, when in reality, that book has been thrown out the window years ago with social media coming into it. And with kind of the way culture has been relaxed a little bit, you don't have to be so on point wearing three-piece suits, going and walking around in your wingtips. You can, like me, wearing your jeans and your Vans tennis shoes and just kind of chillaxing. People want a more relaxed environment to get to know people.
Mm-hmm. But You know what they say, Greg. If you do what other realtors do, you'll get what other realtors get, which is about $35,000 a year on average. In our area, that won't even make a car payment.
No, it won't, and that's the sad part.
Well, and here's what's interesting about that, Michael, because you mentioned that you were on a bus essentially with 50 people that you didn't know. That's a lot more than what most people would subject themselves to in doing this kind of hobby-based lead generation. What a lot of people would do is they would look for something, but then again, you mentioned that you didn't go skiing with your buddies. That's what most people would do. They would call it lead generation, but they would surround themselves in a bubble of their own comfort zone within that lead generation. And what happens is you don't get exposed to the number of people that you need to in order to make that kind of thing work. And so you found that balance point. I mean, essentially, if you did that 4 times a month, you're coming in direct personal contact with 200 people that you don't know that are brand new to your circle. And I imagine you had a ton of conversations. And that's, so that's a key to making that work.
So one of the things you've got to think about is numbers. And you do need to meet a fair amount of people. So, as hiking has become a little more challenging for me, so I've shifted to hiking. So I have joined a hiking club, and several of them, and so I can meet 40 to 60 people a week or more if I wanted to. I mean, I could hike virtually every day of the week. And the beauty of hiking is there's not a lot else to do except talk to people. And it works really, really well because people are just so nice, especially folks that I hike with. But there's a couple of rules for social marketing. Number one, they've got to be upscale. So if you're going to golf, you don't go golfing at the community golf course. You go join a golf club because they have money to buy and sell real estate. And so you want to look for an organization where people are fairly affluent. And then you've got to be able to, and obviously the number 2 rule is you got to be comfortable with these folks. And so it takes a while, but just go out and just have fun. And, what would be the worst thing that would ever happen to me on a weekend of ski house? I got to go skiing.
Yeah.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah, and over time, I mean, it might not, and don't expect it to happen right away. I mean, Michael, I'm sure that your weekend, adventures on skiing, I'm assuming that they weren't like immediately lead gen. It may have taken you a month or so, or a couple of weeks, or maybe even longer. I don't know, but until people started getting to know you more and more, and then they're like, oh yeah, Michael, this is a branding and a short-term but yet long-term play because you have an opportunity to get past the gatekeepers mentally of the sellers and buyers because you have that bond. But then you can use it for, I mean, how long did it take you until I keep, putting my foot in my mouth? How long did it take you to get business out of that?
I think if I remember correctly, it took me 2 weeks.
Okay, so it took you 2 weeks. Took you 2 weeks. At least it wasn't the first week. Then it would have looked horrible.
No, but when you're dealing, Greg, with people that are enjoying the same thing that you do, this doesn't take very long. Now skiing is a little different because we would leave the Bay Area very early, 4 a.m. on a Saturday morning. We would go 4 to 5 hours, depending on where we were going, in the bus. And then we would ski all day, the rest of the day on Saturday, in a hotel, Saturday night. We would ski most of the day on Sunday, and then we'd come 4 or 5 hours back. So if you think about how much time I had with those folks in a little metal cylinder, it works pretty well. But if you're only going hiking for a couple of hours, it may take you 4 weeks, but it works. Just being in front of people that are enjoying the same thing as you, their guard comes down. You can't believe, how much they'll tell you while you're skiing or hiking.
Yeah. Chris Callahan, Chris, my business partner, he straps on spandex, gets on a bike with little tiny thin wheels and goes cycling, in his Peloton. I used to get so pissed at him, like, what are you doing? Spending all this time on this stupid freaking bike, blah, 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 until the deals just started flowing in and sped up, and they just never stop because he's sitting there for 50 to 100 miles a time. I mean, I'm sorry, my butt does not feel good after 50.
Mine neither.
That just gives me. I'm hurting just thinking about it.
I will go on a 10-mile hike.
I'll do a 10-mile hike.
1 mile on a bicycle.
Oh. But it worked. We've gotten all the way up to a $4.5 million listing, all the way down to $400,000 or $500,000 listing. From Chris making relationships on the bike. So if you're like my dad, the Grandmaster, he went swimming at Round Hill, got 2 deals up there, 1.7 and a 4.4 from swimming. So pick an activity, guys. Go to Real Estate Now or all things real estate. You can pick up some good gear you can wear there and use the code CVH. And that'll give you a discount, guys. And you can go buy like shirts, hats that say things. I mean, I wore a hat from them that says real estate life. I wore that out wine tasting one time, Michael. And I'm sitting there with my friend who I actually call, she calls herself hashtag worst client ever, because she was the worst client ever. But we're now friends. But we went out wine tasting, and Michael, I think we lost your audio. You got it. Oh, so we went out wine tasting, and tons of people, like the lady behind the bar was talking to me. The people next to us were talking about real estate. I had another lady come from across the way, like, "Hey, Greg, I saw your hat. I thought it was cool. Then I recognized that it was you." It really does work, guys. I mean, it really does. Just rock the stuff around town, and it's amazing what can come out of this stuff if you're just willing to just put yourself out there a little bit.
Yeah, and again, it's all about being consistent. It doesn't matter what kind of marketing you do as long as you do it on a regular basis. But, new agents, they'll go walk 50 houses 1 week, and then they'll take a week off because they've got blisters, and then they'll do 40 houses and then take 2 more weeks off. You just have to establish consistency in whatever organization you're at, whatever you're involved with. Every time they see you, they have to think about real estate. And if you think you like what I do, because I'm not a real big bulky guy. I'm not standard medium, large, extra large. So what I do is I go find clothes that fit, which is rare, and then I take them to an embroidery shop, and they actually embroider our company name and logo. And so it not only fits well, but it looks good. Mm-hmm. But, I don't want to just, belabor social marketing, because there's thousands of different ways that are very inexpensive. Because you don't have to spend $600 a month buying internet leads, especially when you're getting started. In fact, guys, I wrote a book called 111 Ways to Generate Leads.
Imagine that.
I teach a class called High Impact, Low Budget Marketing. And so, there's so many different ways to get clients besides the usual. I mean, another really effective way is to develop relationships with professionals sort of related to real estate, like, I hate to say this, but attorneys. They run into people. Well, come on, the same attorneys I do.
Yeah, yes, I do.
But attorneys know people who've got to sell because of a divorce. It might be somebody died and they've got to sell the property to divide the proceeds among the heirs. I mean, so attorneys, accountants might be telling people right now, because it's tax time. You need some home if you don't own one for the tax benefits, or you need rental property or something like that. And so those kinds of professionals can just do an amazing job for you, giving you referrals. The only thing you got to do is make sure that, if you give them referrals to their business, that they give you referrals in return, whether it be an accountant, whether it be an attorney, whether it be whomever. Build your relationships. And again, it's all about, as you mentioned, Greg, about relationships. Build relationships with professionals who might be able to benefit you, even people like wedding planners. One of the first things that newly married people want to do, buy a home together.
So, Michael, one of the things that I have told I've talked about and I heard a long time ago was to for the ladies. I don't know sure it's so much for the guys would be. I don't know. We do so well at this one, but go to the bridal events, so those big bridal showers and not a shower, but like those big events where they pile this all the cakes and all that crap. Expo. Dude, go get a tent or a little table and sit down and hand out some pretty little thing, something that a girl would want at her freaking wedding. Negotiate with another company and give a discount on something that's not at the event. Be the face and the arm of that company while promoting your real estate services simultaneously. Then you can get ahead of those folks and you can really start becoming a friend with them. Also, there's one of the things that, like Michael, what you and I have talked about, we have a $25 gift certificate to Forbes Mill, which is a high-end steakhouse here in the area. There's a website called Coop Out, and Coop Out, really pretty cool. What it does, it takes like coupons and takes it to a whole nother level. And it helps with social media. It alerts the restaurants when it goes out. You can put little digital coupons on it, all kinds of stuff. And the guy who founded it, said that he got about a deal a year from each one of the people that he was associated with, giving out the coupons for. He had like 40, different, vendors that he would push, coupons out for. And so, just from being social and being out and meeting and greeting people out and about, out in town. Now, I bought Coop Out, and because it was such a good idea, I've never put it into use.
Join the club.
Surprise.
Oh, God.
Oh, man, Greg.
But I can't wait to put it into
yeah,
use.
but that's a really good. Like, Michael, how would you reach out to someone, especially if they're a high-powered professional? I can see. There's ideas for reaching out to, let's say, contractors that serve the homeowners, and it's pretty clear kind of what the arrangement is there. What about when you're reaching out to someone that's in a professional service, like an attorney, and you're not really sure if you can, that just the need for someone's services in your network? I mean, it may be once a year. I mean, it may be a while before you can really tangibly send them business. So how do you reach out and start to build that relationship when you may not have something to give them or to offer them right off the bat?
Well, I think, Matt, it just comes down to just building that relationship. Mm-hmm. And so, I meet plenty of professionals, accountants, attorneys, financial planners at the local marketing meeting. Mm-hmm. And so very often they'll just send me referrals, and I'll let them know that, I don't have anybody at the moment, but generally something will come up somewhere down the road that one of my clients will need those services. And the key is, if they refer to you, you refer back to them.
Yeah.
But you were mentioning, contractors and things like that. Those are the easiest ones, Matt, that most people don't even think about. Yeah. My gardener gives me leads. My contractor gives me leads, because these folks, painters, they know when somebody's going to sell their home, sometimes almost before the homeowner does. Why does somebody paint their house? Maybe it really, really needs it, or maybe they're thinking about spiffing it up, so they're going to paint it. And so I get leads.
Maybe they're just
all
unhappy
the time.
with it in general. Yeah.
So that could be too, but either way, maybe they're going to sell, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So
one of your greatest sources that we got leads from this man consistently is your mailman or mailwoman. We had A's tickets at that point. This is 15 plus years ago. We'd give any of the games we couldn't use, we gave them to Mailman Mike. Mailman Mike was an avid A's fan, and he would come by, and we'd go out and give him cookies, and we were buddies with him. And my parents actually went to his retirement party.
Wow.
And he would say, the people at blah, 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 and blank, 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 they're getting a divorce. And,
oh my God.
Yeah, because they see those attorneys' letters coming and things like that. Yeah.
Oh, they know everything about you. Okay.
Scary, yeah.
It was like the original version of Facebook.
Yeah.
In a vehicle, and now, it truly is. Go make friends with your mailman or mailwoman. Let's be PC, mail person. This is real estate censored in that moment.
Well, point being, though, you can get leads anywhere. So number one, carry business cards wherever you go.
Yes.
So when I go swimming or at the beach or whatever, I have laminated business cards so they don't get wet. But I never want to miss out on the opportunity to give people business cards.
I carry this with me at all times, even on my days off, so I can be like, oh, you on a card? Bloop. Here.
There you go.
Has one? No, have two.
Perfect. Perfect. Yep. You've got to be ready to give people your card anytime, anywhere. You would be surprised. I've been on the lift at the top of a mountain at the highest point in California and giving out a business card.
Yeah. So people always, I talk about that a lot, Michael, to the fact that, like, if you want to really jumpstart your business at a zero cost basis, is hand out between 10 and 25 business cards every single day. And everyone's like, who do I need them out to? I'm like, don't overthink it. If they breathe, give them a freaking business card. Yeah, 97% of them are going to get thrown away, but you don't need all of that. You just need those people who actually need to talk to you at that time, because you're not saying, hey, buy and sell with me. It's more like, hey, if I can be a resource for you, here's my card, keep me in the back of the mind. And when you say it differently, people will respond to you differently. But and now, when I first started saying that, a long time ago, and I'm like, shit, I'm not doing what I'm saying to go do. So how can I back this up? So guess what I did? I went out on I did a podcast, walked my happy ass across the parking lot over to Trader Joe's, and my checker, the dude's like, dude, what do you do for a living, man? I see you all the time in here. I'm like, oh, it's a great opportunity to hand out a card. I'm like, I sell real estate. Here's the card. And awkward pregnant pause. He looks at me kind of funny. He goes, I'm not going to be doing anything, but my parents are thinking about selling theirs.
It's like, amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing. Went to the bank later that day. New manager was there, and never seen the guy before. I know the girls. Well, none of them are there anymore, but the girls that were, I always used to talk with in there. And I said, hey, man, how are you? I'm Greg. By the way, here's my card. I sell real estate in the area. Let me know if I can help. He goes, oh, thanks, man. My brother's in real estate. I'm like, oh, crap. But he lives in the peninsula. We don't have anyone for around town. I'm like, oh, really?
There you go.
It just took an asking. That's all it takes is just asking.
So if I were to talk to even if you're not a new agent, but another great way to go is open houses. A lot of people think open houses are dead because of virtual tours. People are not going to buy the house on a virtual tour. They want to see it eventually. And the easiest way to see a bunch of houses in a short amount of time is open houses. The problem is most agents, as you guys know, have not a clue how to properly hold an open house.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Well,
hang on.
Yeah, right.
Let me brace myself. Hang on.
Oh my God.
strap myself in. All right. So what? Three steps to run a good open house.
No, Matt, I do teach a class on holding effective open houses. But number one, don't try to sell the house you're in.
Yes.
Right.
That's what most agents do. Hey, come look at the kitchen. Come look at the basement. Come look at this. The chances of them buying the house they walk into are less than 5%. So 95% of your effort should be spent trying to build a relationship with the person you're in front of. The second thing you need to be doing is qualifying quickly. Do you have an agent? If you do think you have an agent, do you have a buyer-broker agreement with them? If not, maybe I could show you a few properties. Do they ask you to look on your own at properties? I kind of do that for my clients. Know something unique about the property that shows your knowledge, your skills, and try to build a deep relationship with that customer in a real short amount of time, which means you got to dig deep and try and find out, who are these people? What do they do for fun? What really motivates them? What really floats their boat? And then try to connect with them on that level, because they're going to meet 7, 8, 9, 10 agents that afternoon. Will they really remember you? And so there's lots of techniques to make sure that you do get their actual contact information, because many of them certainly give you bogus information. But if you're going to give them valuable information, they will give you their real contact information. And so it's all about, what's in it for them, not what's in it for you. But if you can find a way, how can I serve you? How can I help you find the home of your dreams quicker? How can I save you money? Have you been pre-approved? If you have you gone to the next level and gotten underwritten? Don't know what that is? Let me set you up with a lender who can do that. Those kinds of things can really help you with an open house. But And especially, just a quick word of warning for people that are new. If somebody walks in the door and says, I'm just a neighbor, I'm just looking, don't ignore them.
No.
Because people don't look at open houses to get decorating ideas. They want to know, is the home like mine and what's it worth? Because I'm thinking about selling mine somewhere down the road.
And they're interviewing you on the spot. They're saying, did you get up and meet them? Did you sit behind, did you sit and not, get involved?
Are you reading the paper?
Yeah, you're reading the paper. Are you annoying the shit out of them by following them around like a lost puppy, nipping at their heels? That shit sucks. Don't do that. It's so normal.
Exactly.
Don't try to show me every fucking thing either. Okay.
Right.
Look at this fantastic view. Look at this. Look at that knuckle sandwich. Get out of my face.
Right. Exactly.
There is
that may not be important to them. The question is, what is important to them, and what are they really looking for that you can help them find? Because it probably isn't the house you're standing in.
Very, very few that's ever going to happen. Also, and then it's going to come down to the follow-up. And then, so Michael, you're super high touch, and that's the most important thing: building the relationship, getting the trust. Moving forward from that point. There's a system that's free called AM Open House, guys. You can go there. They enter in some just small information, their contact, their name, and blah, blah, blah. At the end, when you shut the open house on the system, you'll automatically send them an email or a text message thanking them for coming through, touching base, talking about next steps. It's all emails you can write and everything else. It shows very proactive reaction to their interest in the property and in real estate. Because Michael, this, Matt, this as well. Us real estate agents, we are epically horrible at follow-up. I mean, we are.
Yep.
Okay, so here's an example. I am like you. Michael and I are both. Yes, we teach, but we're in the trenches. I called a lead back from 2015 today. Okay, and I'm like, we talked like a long time ago, but what are you thinking about doing? I called two of them, right? They both had not sold. They were both thanked me for following up, and they both went on an email drip campaign. But
Beautiful.
I almost didn't call them up because it was so old, but I didn't know what the reaction was going to be. But I said, well, I'll call you next. I'll follow up with you, and it won't be 2 years from now. And they laughed, and I laughed, and we got them on the drip and everything else. So don't be afraid of old leads, new leads. Just make sure you follow up with them.
Yeah, because the question is, what's the worst that can happen? And if they say they sold, you don't have to worry about them. Take them off your list.
I did two of those today. Yeah,
exactly.
They sold the house.
They could issue like a super highly specific and very hurtful insult at someone like, they can insult your shirt for example, Greg.
Shut up.
But anyway,
man.
The odds of that are very slim, very slim. But I'm just saying that could happen. All right, so we've got social farming, we've got open houses, developing relationships with professionals in related or adjacent industries. So anything else, Michael, that you'd recommend to agents that are new or restarting the business?
Well, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the business, Matt. Just get out and meet other agents, especially people from outside your area for referrals.
Yeah.
Number one, I recommend agents not work outside their service area, wherever that happens to be. Because there's, in the Bay Area, we've got San Francisco, we've got Berkeley, which are like light years away from anything we know. It's very different, and it's very high risk, high liability to be working in those areas if you're not experienced and comfortable there. So what you want to do is you want to refer to someone in those areas or someone way far away and just get a referral fee for basically giving them a name and a phone number and an email.
Yep.
But you can also get referrals sent to you. So if you go to things like the CAR convention, so your state convention, you've got people from all over your state that you're going to meet in a short amount of time. If you go to continuing education classes, don't always go locally because it's convenient. You might want to go to the next county over, where a lot of your clients move to. And so then you can start sending back and forth. So in our area, I do a lot of building relationships with agents in Placer County, which is way far north of us near the snow line, because a lot of my clients go to retire up there. So I need agents up there I can refer to. And of course, if they've got anybody coming our way, they'll refer to me, but that sometimes gets kind of rare. But it's, I've got to keep building those relationships. I joined the Women's Council of Realtors. I join, as many organizations as I can to put me in touch with other realtors, because, that's the easiest, kind of business you can get, and it doesn't cost virtually anything. Just the cost of joining, which is $50 a year or something like that. And it works really well.
So
that's exactly what guys in if you're in Midwest markets, like let's say you're in Omaha, taking your CE classes in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is only a half-hour drive, but that is literally a pipeline from those two back and forth between those two places, and having a referral agent that you have that's a specific person, or even just building a relationship with a couple of different people at a company down there can yield a pretty constant stream of referrals because the traffic between those two cities is consistent. So yeah,
exactly.
That's a great, and that's not something that just applies to the Bay Area. You can expand that to Midwest markets that just have nearby towns and cities and things like that are next county over, or hour or two away.
So, and if you know that your clients go someplace to retire or vacation or something like that, build relationships with agents in those areas so that you can do referral business.
Yeah, very true. There's another way to go about this is that you can go in, like in the Bay Area, we have 7 different counties, and there are cities that I have never freaking been to in my life. I went out, I hung out with my friend Lily, and Lily, what up, Knuckles to you, girl? She and I went to a baseball game on Saturday, and I was in Berlin game. Never been to Berlin game. I'm like, oh, this is a totally different animal over here. So
exactly.
Here's an idea. Go into every city that's surrounding you with, I don't know, 75 to 100 miles. Go find out the top agent in every single city. You can then go send them something and say, hey, congratulations on last year's production of blank. I just wanted to say, congratulations. If anyone's ever heading from you to me, I would love to be your go-to resource. 1, you're patting their ego. 2, you're giving them something of recognition they didn't expect. And 3, I'm sorry, Michael, tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but any top producer loves to get their ego stroked, loves to be recognized, and would love to work with someone that recognizes them as someone who's special.
Exactly.
And you want to work with top producers because they're top producers, and you guys can work together, potentially create a mastermind with these top producers. You get together once a month on a Zoom call or a call with all these agents and explain what's working in your different areas. You're not competing with each other, but you get together as a whole, build that relationship on a much deeper basis, maybe bring in some lenders from outside, start this whole little network in your local area that can be just a referral tornado coming your direction.
It just doesn't take a lot of money. It doesn't take a lot of time. Again, it just means being consistent about your marketing. But again, it means you've got to enjoy your marketing because you're going to be doing a fair amount of time doing it.
Yeah, I love that.
It was, exactly right. Mm-hmm. Matt, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, that's one of the things I've learned from watching guys Chris Angels talked about on the show, like not building your business off of prospecting and marketing that you hate doing. I've also watched that put into action by guys like Frank at Viral Marketing, who are very, very in tune and making sure that if they're going to do a marketing, number one, it's part of a larger whole. It's very systematic and rhythmic, just over and over and over, relentlessly every week or every 2 weeks, whatever. But they pick a rhythm with the intention of sticking with it for a year or two. And then because of that, because they know it's going to be rhythmic and relentless for a certain period of time, then yes, they try to make it something that they enjoy and something that's not burdensome on them. I think what agents get into is they listen to and they try to model people that are doing things that work well for them for whatever reason. Like we have a lot of people that probably sign up for, the course, Rockstar Prospecting or whatever, with the intention that, hey, I'm going to go circle prospect just like Greg because it works for Greg. Great. Are you Greg? Do you, and that the answer is probably not. And if people put more time into it and they thought about it in those terms of like, hey, I need to find something I can do every week, week in and week out for the next year, I think they would be much more selective in the marketing that they go out and attempt to do.
Rather than just throwing things against the wall and moving on to something else.
And
I think that's great advice.
Things that aren't suited for their personality, yeah.
Exactly.
I talked to I talked to someone today. They had gone, was it cold calls or door knocks? Cold calls. No, mailings. Did mailings 3 times and wanted to give up on it. And I'm like, well, your 80% of your business lives between your 5th and your 12th contact. So, I mean, you're not even giving yourself a fair shake at even a portion of that. You got to stay persistent and consistent at all times. And I know, Matt and Michael, we browbeat the people we talk on the podcast. Michael, out with your speaking and your writing and your training and everything else, and also local real estate. I mean, we browbeat people with this, but they don't want to do it because being successful in real estate, it's simple. It just isn't always easy.
Exactly.
You got to make that distinction.
But I would say if you think about doing some kind of marketing and you hesitate, like, not sure I really want to do that, don't do it. Find something else. There are so many other ways to get clients. And I think the last thing we need to wrap up with, guys, is the reason you want to do marketing is because you want to have so many clients that you can afford to turn some of them away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
some of them are
so true.
Yeah, you do not want to work with somebody that, number one, you don't relate to well, that you don't feel good with, and you don't enjoy working with, because this business is way too tough to work with people you don't personally like.
Mm-hmm. And then the people that don't respect you as a professional.
Exactly. They think that they know more than you do. Forget it. Have enough clients so that you can afford to turn some of them away.
I had a friend of mine. I've known these individuals for a long period of time, 3+ years at this point, and they finally. I told them not to buy. Bad market. Don't do this. Don't do this. They're getting married, and Mrs. is an attorney, and so I sat down with Mr. down by the pool, and we were drinking a couple of beers, just getting a sunburn, being idiots, being guys. And he's like, well, I'm thinking about buying. I'm like, okay, well, let's go look at some houses. Here's my lender's number. Go. Well, they came back to me and they're like, oh, well, Mrs. is going to write the contract because she's an attorney. So I'm like, fucking awesome. Number 2 was, oh, by the way, if we were going to use you, we want you to kick us back a point. I'm like, that's illegal and not a chance in holy hell will I do that for you. So they went and found some douchebag out of L.A. that's writing the contract for them. And you know what? The LA agent, like we said, in this hyper-local information, there's going to be problems with the contract because the agent does not know the marketplace up here. They do not have a relationship with the agent that's listed up here. And number 2, guys, I stepped away from that deal and walked away from the commission because there was zero respect shown.
Yeah, exactly.
They were going to beat me up for the entire transaction.
Yep.
And
it would not have been fun.
No, it would not have been fun. And I said, no, I have the ability to not do deals I don't want to do, and you're not one I want to do anymore. God bless. Go in peace.
Yep. But you got to have enough clients to do that.
Man, Matt, it's fucking Bob for me, Max. That son of a bitch.
Bob for me. Man, that guy takes a pounding in every conversation. But yeah, that is true. Like when I hear, so my girlfriend works at a local brokerage here in Temecula, and she's not in the agent culture. She's on the marketing side, but she hears all the back and forth and the disputes and the infighting and the backbiting and all this. Dude, it all has to do with fighting over specific clients and trying to steal clients from other people because they don't have enough of a selection for themselves.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's a problem that causes a lot of other problems.
Because they don't prospect. Then they have a limited mindset. But
yeah, anyway. But Michael, tell people where they can connect with you. I mean, you mentioned the book, the 111 lead generation ideas. Where can they get that kind of stuff from you?
You can get it directly from me, 800-417-7325. And if you have questions, you can email me at michaelsoonlee@gmail.com. All
Perfect.
one word.
All right, and Soon is SOON. So it's michaelsoonlee@gmail.com. Awesome. Well, they obviously, if you want to talk to Michael about like any of the books that he's written, I think a couple of especially the Black Belt Negotiation is available on Amazon as well. So I wanted to promote that too. And then Greg, everybody should follow you. They should follow both of us actually on Facebook.
Yes.
Because you are out. Facebook is giving you the slap on the wrist for having too many friend requests. So you cannot. You have too many people in waiting. But I did want to point out, Kristen had a great suggestion for us yesterday, Greg. So as the show continues to grow, and we're very, very fortunate to have a lot of amazing viewers, but with that size and with that growth comes some haters and some unsavory comments, people that find Greg unpalatable. So please send those in to us or draw them to our attention. If they're on YouTube or Facebook, I want to start reading them at the end of our shows and have Greg read them like celebrities read mean tweets on Jimmy Kimmel. That's so, guys. If you see an unsavory comment or a hater comment or whatever, we want to hear about it, and we want to have Greg read about it on the show. So that's all I have.
Yes, I would. That would be epic because Matt, I want to key music. Dear diary, and you're just writing this out. I want all you haters. Bring it on, Tinkerbell. I'm gonna just slap you down and give your full name on air. This will be fun. Or your pen name. So hate away. Hate.
You know you've made it, guys, when you start getting hate mail. Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh my God, that's fun. Okay, we love you guys. We do it for you. Matt, who's our next guest?
It is, man, this guy's a dynamo. So this guy's name is Glenn Twiddle. He is a real estate coach out of Australia. He's joining us from the great continent of Australia. This guy co-hosts and co-headlines an educational event every year in Australia. The most recent co-headliner with him was Arnold Schwarzenegger, the man himself. He also has been invited for the last few years to come up to LA to spend time with Arnold and a group of his guys and play poker with him once a year. So he's kind of tied in with that crowd. He's had a chance to hang out with guys like Tim Ferriss. He is an absolutely dynamic guy, and he comes at it from more of the perspective of marketing in the century we actually live in. And so he's talking about how to turn yourself into a celebrity that actually connects with people on topics that are of interest to you both, rather than just real estate and becoming kind of the local celebrity that you build trust and brand awareness there, so that when people think about real estate and they have that need come up, they think of you. And that you have the personality and the credibility to back that up. So that's what we're talking about with him on Wednesday.
That is awesome, guys. I love you to pieces. Matt loves you to pieces. Contact Michael. He is an amazing resource. Use him, but don't abuse him, because he is a black belt in multiple different martial arts. All right, guys. We're out of here until next show. Till then, guys. Peace out, ninjas.